right, here we go. So, just go ahead and, what's going on, my friend?
Well, you wanted to interview. What do you want to interview me about?
Anything and everything, man. I want to know it all, as much as you're willing to tell. And if there's,
and I will answer.
look, if there's something that I ask that you're just not comfortable with, just let me know. Hey, man, I just don't know if I'm comfortable with that because I never know what I might ask, man. I just kind of follow the conversation and see where it goes. And I'm new at this. I don't even have a tripod yet, so. Yeah, you were telling me that you were also on Soft White Underbelly's YouTube channel. Now,
Yes, I am.
Did you meet him in L.A.?
I did.
Yeah? Did you get off the Greyhound station? Or
No, I was hanging out with some people, and somebody's like, "Hey, dude, I know this dude is paying pretty good money to interview people that are on the streets with drug problem." And I'm like, "Well, I'm one of those people." And so he took me to this seedy little alley, and this guy come out and shook my hand and said, "Yeah, I'll interview." And we went in this little area that looked like it should have been porn made there, but
were you wondering, like, what the fuck's going on?
Like, what's he really paying me for? What's really going on?
You just signed up for a porn gig and you didn't know it.
Yeah, so he paid me and he asked a bunch of questions, and I did my interview. And
no porn, right?
No porn.
All right, that's good. That's good. That's
No
good.
porn.
Anyway, all right. Thanks for giving us the little summary. By the way, go ahead and tell us your name, how old you are, and where you're from.
My name is Docs. My real name is David. I'm from Nashville, Tennessee, and I'm 41.
41 years old. You're from Nashville, Tennessee?
I'm from Nashville, Tennessee.
Yeah, so are you a country music fan, or?
Yeah, of course.
Are you?
I like all music. Grateful Dead's my favorite band, but I like all music.
Okay, yeah. How long have you been in California, specifically San Francisco?
This time I've been here 2 months. I've been coming here since I was 14 years old, off and on, traveling. So I'd say I spent over half my life in San Francisco, off and on.
Oh yeah. So where do you go when you leave here?
Depends on, sometimes I'm going to LA, sometimes I go to Texas. It all depends on, I don't know, like when I decide to leave, where I'm going to go. It's kind of hard to tell.
Do you have, and we're doing this in the bathroom at the homeless shelter, by the way, guys. So it's raw and uncut. If you hear the toilet flush, hey, it just is what it is. This is live, raw, and uncut, baby. So do you got friends all over the place? Like
yeah, like I've got people everywhere, man. Like I don't never go somewhere and I don't know somebody, or I'm not, like being a traveler and doing this as long as I have, you run into people everywhere and you make friends everywhere. Like I know when I came here, the first night I got back, I seen like 12 people I haven't seen in 6 years. They were all like, "Docs, come here, we love you."
Yeah.
You know, so like I got people with houses here, and I just don't do that. You know, like they're like, "Come stay with us," and I'm like, "No, I'm good, man. I'm gonna do my thing. You do yours."
Yeah.
You know, like, so yeah, like I got being a traveler. The good thing is I know people everywhere. You know what I mean?
That's what's up. What's up? I noticed you're in a wheelchair, man. You want to talk about that? How that happened?
In 2018, I was really drunk in New Orleans, and I thought it'd be a good idea to hop a freight train, because that's what I do anyways. I've been doing that since I was 14. And it wasn't a good idea. I woke up the next morning. I don't remember doing it, as a matter of fact. That's how drunk I was. I woke up the next morning in the hospital with no leg.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a pretty fucked up morning.
Yeah, I'd say so, but you lived, right?
Yeah.
Who found you?
You never hop alone. So I had a crew, and they just kind of watched the whole thing because there wasn't a whole lot they could do about it other than just watch it. And they called the ambulance.
Wow. That's an incredible story right there. You're a survivor, and you still get around. Like it's not stopping you from traveling and jumping from city to city. What is it you like about just jumping from city to city, place to place? Is that something you like to do? Is it something you feel like you're forced to do? Is it something that you grew up doing? Like, what is it?
I didn't really never fit in with my family, so I decided at 14 I watched this movie called Boxcar Willie, and I was like, that sounds fun. And so I went and tried it, and I just started doing it. Like I tell people, I didn't choose my life chose me. Like normal people don't choose to hop freight trains, but
what's normal anyway?
Well, people that don't choose right turns. For sure.
Everything's always changing. That's a universal constant. Change is a constant. So everything's always changing, and I don't know what norm is or the new norm. There's always one, but what is normal? By the way, you talked about having a drug habit. Is that something that you're still struggling with? And if
yes,
what kind of drugs?
Well, I've done everything. My last hurrah is actually fentanyl. And by the way, folks, it's a killer. It's not a good drug. It's a very terrible drug, and nobody should ever do it.
Yeah, I think that's important for kids, especially these young people, because Percocets, they're starting to get really popular. They're real popular, these pills. Have you ever tried any of those?
Well, that's actually how I wound up doing fentanyl. I was in Denver, and I was smoking what I thought was Roxy's 30s or blue.
Yeah.
And wound up turning out to be fentanyl. By the time I'd done all of that, heroin wouldn't work anymore. Fentanyl is such a strong drug that I couldn't feel heroin. So from Denver, I went to LA, and I started smoking fentanyl because I couldn't get the blues anymore either. And I was in LA within a 3-week time span. 13 people died beside me doing my drugs with me sharing. Because, I don't know, I just have a really high tolerance. And so I stopped sharing with people, and then I finally left LA because I was tired of the fentanyl, and I went to Austin. And then I got back on meth. Yes, I have a drug problem. It's pretty serious. I actually just got on methadone because I am done with fentanyl.
Well, congratulations. How long have you been off of the fentanyl, or are you completely off of it yet?
I've done it a few times since I got on methadone, but for the most part, I'm off of it. I couldn't deal with the sick. Like, it's really bad on fentanyl. Like, I mean, within 24 hours, you're shitting on yourself, puking everywhere. Like, it's just awful. And so I haven't got on methadone, and I feel better. Like, I know now, like, I have to get up every morning, and I do have to go to the clinic, but I don't have to do anything else in the rest of the day. Like, I know I go to the clinic, I take my medication, and I'm good for the day. Like, I don't have to do opiates no more. Like, it's not something like, if I choose to go do some fentanyl or whatever, which is a terrible choice, by the way, I don't have to. I don't have to go run the streets and steal or do whatever I need to do to get my money today so I can be well. Like, it's taken care of. So, like, today, for instance, I went to the clinic, and I've been here all day, laid up in my bunk, watching TV on my phone, like...
Relaxing.
Like, normally, I wouldn't be able to do that. But, fentanyl is a terrible drug. It's gonna kill all of us eventually if we continue to use it. It's like the bottom line. It's got me really jaded on a lot of things, like people ODing. People like, well, so-and-so OD'd, and I'm just like, okay. And I know it's kind of a fucked up way to look at it, but the reality is I'm an opiate addict, and everybody I know is an opiate addict. And we do very dangerous, stupid drugs. And eventually, we're gonna die. There's no point in me getting sad because the inevitable already happened to them. And I guess that's
wow.
I guess I'm that way because I'm tired of losing friends and I'm tired of crying at funerals. Especially for something that they did to themselves. You know, nobody made my brother go buy fentanyl and die. He did that on his own.
You know what? That's true. But what's also true, the same token, maybe a different side of the same coin, is that before fentanyl hit the streets, nobody was dying from fentanyl.
No, not from fentanyl, but they were dying from heroin.
Yeah, but now it's at record levels. And,
oh yeah.
And people were not dying from fentanyl prior to fentanyl hitting the streets. And that's a time for another story.
Yes.
But definitely. That is something to think about because America. We know in America that look, other countries know, other gangs, cartels. I'm not putting a finger on anybody. I'm just saying, like, anyone that's gonna smuggle drugs into this country knows that, like, if they get the drug here, it's gonna sell. So, like, there's going to be someone that buys that drug. They're going to get that sold eventually. And so, like, just knowing that, from, like, a capitalistic type of mentality, it's gonna get gone, and someone is gonna do it, and someone is gonna end up getting hooked on it. So I think we don't just have a problem in the streets as far as people getting high. Yeah, that's a symptom, or you could say that's an effect of a higher cause. What's causing these people to get access to these drugs? Well, they're coming across our borders. They're coming up from overseas.
I personally believe that the government brought fentanyl here.
Well, I'm not going to. I personally, from my research, I can't say that I agree with you, but everyone's welcome to their own opinion. But what I do think is that it's not our government specifically, but we do know that the precursors to fentanyl are being shipped from China to other parts of the world, where they're then turned into, and then they have the labs, and then they just ship it up through to America, and it's dirt cheap now. It's dirt cheap, and it's super potent, and it's killing us. And one could say that it is. It's an act of war on Americans, but that's a time for another story.
Yes.
Everyone has a choice to what they're going to do and what they're not going to do. Another could argue, in a free and democratic society, you're free to do what you want to do. If you're going to do a dangerous, mind-altering drug, and you know the dangers of it, then hey, who's to stop you? If someone tried to stop you when you were still using on the regular, would you have stopped?
People did try.
Right, and did it work?
No.
So what was it? What was the changing point for you?
I've been a heroin addict. I was a heroin addict for 25 plus years, like a religious hardcore heroin addict. That's what I did.
Did you like doing it, or do you feel like you were just hooked on it?
I liked it at one point, and then I was just hooked. I come to a conclusion a long time ago. My mentality's actually just changed. That I was a junkie, and this is what I did. That's not true. That's not true for anybody. Everybody can change, and everybody can get better. But with fentanyl, it has taken me to this dark, deep place that I've never been with drugs before. I was feeling hollow, like dead inside, like there was nothing left of me. And I didn't like the way I felt. I tried to kill myself several times. I was just miserable. And my thoughts on methadone and Suboxone used to be, if I'm going to be on drugs, I'm going to be on good drugs. And with fentanyl, that's just not the case. It's not a good drug. It's bad. And there's so many different types of fentanyl now.
What do you mean?
All right, so you've got fentanyl, you've got what they call ISO, which is isotope. And I don't know the compound behind any of these. I just know that ISO is not really fentanyl. It's an isotope or some shit like that. And then you've got carfentanil.
Which one's stronger, the ISO or?
Carfentanil is the strongest. It's like 1,000 times stronger than regular fentanyl.
Do you buy that out here sometimes?
That's what I do. That's what I prefer to do.
Mm-hmm.
But now they've got what they call trank dope, which is fentanyl mixed with tranquilizers. So like you got these all different kinds, and you never really 100% know what you're getting until you put a lighter to the foil. See what I'm saying? Like you never actually know. And then so it's a game. It's a gamble. And like
and you smoke it?
I prefer to smoke it. Some people shoot it.
Most people smoke it though, right?
Yes.
Here, at
so
least in
everywhere. In LA, it's really unheard of for people to shoot fentanyl. It's like not a thing.
Yeah, where I'm from, that's what they all do. They all shoot it.
Oh, see, yeah, like
Cincinnati, there's needles. They all use fentanyl and they all shoot it. I'd never seen somebody smoke fentanyl. I thought they were smoking meth or something.
Like,
but apparently they're out here smoking fentanyl.
Yes, a bunch.
And those glass bubbles with the butane lighters.
Oh, that's meth. Well, you can smoke both of them. You can smoke fentanyl in a bubble or meth.
I just see them with a glass pipe, and they're always got one of them butane lighters, and they're hitting something.
I mean, it's usually 9 times out of 10 if it's in a glass pipe, it's meth.
Okay.
And
that's why some people are holding foil because they're smoking fentanyl out of that.
Yes, because I don't know, if a glass burns up fentanyl, you don't get a good hit, is my opinion. But you can smoke it out of a dab bomb. Like you can smoke fentanyl just like you would smoke wax. Heat your nail on your bomb, drop the fentanyl on, and smoke it. You can dab it with a nectar collector. Like you can do so many things with fentanyl. Like in LA, that's how a lot of people smoke fentanyl with. Like they put it in a wax container and they use the nectar collector because, I mean, it's pot's legal in California. So who thinks anything about some new point is waxing, and dab it? But it's deadly and don't do it. Like point blank.
Yeah, I agree. So, I know you didn't just wake up one day and you were jumping trail cars or something. You said you watched the movie, but at 14, and then that's when you started. But prior to that, something had to lead up to even get to that point. So, like, if you could go back to, your earliest memories, like, what was your childhood like?
Good.
Like, did you have one parent, two parents? What was your household
I'm
like?
adopted.
What the household look like?
I'm adopted. I have a mother and father named Barney and Loretta. And they were good people, Christian people. My father was a preacher. Like, I just never fit in. Like,
were you the only child, or were there other?
No, I have a brother. They had a son named Mike. He's a firefighter in Springfield, Tennessee. Good dude. Never been in trouble. Like role model type dude. And they wanted another child, so they adopted me. And they knew my mom's best friend's sister had me. She was a crackhead, a dope whore. Like my real father was an outlaw biker that died before I was born. She was a biker whore. And so like they got me, but I never fit in with them like I did in my real family. Like I didn't feel like I ever belonged. So I just left. Like, but my childhood was great. Like I had whatever I wanted. I don't come from some bad environment, like none of that applied to me. Like I come from a good home. I wore nice clothes and like I can go home and have nice clothes now. Like I just didn't fit in. Like just.
Did you always know you were adopted?
Yes. Yeah, it was never like.
How old were you when you got adopted?
Birth. As soon as I come out of my mama, I went to my mama.
Wow.
Yeah, like she was actually going to prison, so like they let her. She might have actually been in jail. Those kind of details are hazy to me, but as soon as I was born, I was given to Vernon and Loretta.
Wow. And then so you're adopted by a preacher and the mom.
Yes.
And the preacher's wife. Did she have a job?
Yeah, she was an accountant for the biggest real estate company in Tennessee.
Yeah, so you had a great life.
Yeah.
Preacher dad grew up, probably knew the Bible by the time you're freaking 8, 9, 10, in and out, never missed a day at church. You're the preacher's kid, but you know what they say about the preacher's kids.
We're the wildest.
Yeah, it seems like it might have been true. But you know what? It makes me just wonder, you said your family was normal, but you had a great life, all the chances in the world, but something just didn't click. And you say you didn't feel like you fit in, and you knew that you were adopted from a young age. Like, do you think it would have been different if they would have just raised you as their own son and never told you were adopted? Do you think you would have still felt that way?
If I would have found out, I would have felt betrayed and lied to. See what I'm saying? Like, I would have felt like, well, why is this a big secret? Why'd you lie to me? I'm not really yours. I've thought about that many a time.
The way I would have answered that as a parent is said, yes, you are. And that's exactly why I didn't tell you, is because you are my son and you'll always be my son. And that's it. And let's go have some ice cream. Do you think a conversation like that may have been a chance for it to be a preventative? Like, I'm just wondering.
I never felt like I wasn't theirs. Just because I didn't feel like I fit in. Like, I belong.
What was it that made you feel like you didn't fit in then?
I don't know. Like, I just was.
If you could put your finger on one thing, like you were different, your personality.
Yeah, like no, it's just like I come from a long line of dumbasses and wild people.
Yeah, but you weren't.
They're not wild. Like it's like.
But how did you know who your parents were? Did you know where you came from?
I know. Yes, like I'm always mom. Like I said,
Did people tell you about how bad your parents were?
Yes. Like I know my real family.
Oh, they let you around your real family.
Like I said, my mom's best friend's sister is the one that had me.
Yeah.
That was my mom's best friend's sister. You know what I mean? Like, so my mom wasn't going to stop being around her best friend. So
gotcha.
I always knew. Like that was never kept from me. And I still don't fit in. Like if you talk to me and then you talk to my parents, you'd be like, they can't be your kid ever.
You know, I'm just in a different space in life, so maybe a lot of people might think that, but for me, you know, those labels, boxes, all that stuff, it's just, that's for the birds. You know, I know that life happens, and that's just is what it is, man. But you know, it seems like you're doing pretty good now. You're doing a lot better. You know, you're on the up and up. You're taking methadone. You said you just take that once a day?
Once a day.
Yeah.
Usually I try to do it early in the morning. It's the first thing I do when I wake up.
Yeah.
I get up and use the bathroom, do all the morning routine stuff, and then I go straight to the methadone plant.
Gotcha. You ever been to prison?
Yes, twice.
Recently or?
No, I haven't been in prison since I was late 20s.
Late 20s?
Yeah.
In California or in another?
No, I've been in prison in Georgia and Tennessee.
Georgia and Tennessee?
And I've been in jail a couple times in Texas.
Gotcha. So you don't get locked up a lot, do you?
Not anymore.
How old are you? How old are you again?
I'm 41.
41. Still young, man. Young.
I haven't been in any real legal trouble like prison time since I was a kid. Like,
what's the tattoo? What's the face tats about? I had to ask.
Yeah, it's cool. Like, so this one right here says "Fuck you, pay me." It just,
awesome.
It tells my train hopping world I'm a street hustler. I'm about that money.
Yeah.
This is Big Freight One. It was my first train hopping crew. This is Squatters' Rights and Anarchy symbol combined. And this one's the most important tattoo I could ever have. These 9 dots represent the 9 most important people in my life, starting with my mama closest to my heart growing up.
Yeah.
Thanks. That's what my face means.
Okay, so you said Big Freight One. That was a train hopping gang, you said?
Yeah, not a gang.
A group?
Not a gang. It was just a bunch of crew. Like, back when I first started hopping trains, you didn't do it alone. You had to have people to have your back. So our crew was Big Freight One.
How come? Like, why did you need
Rails
people?
are rough, bro.
What do you mean?
And there used to be what's called gutter punks.
Mm-hmm.
And they look like train hoppers, but they're low-life pieces of shit that believe in rape, chaos, mayhem, and anything to hurt somebody.
And they hang out at the train
They
tracks?
used to hop freight too. And like they would fight us. It's just, I mean, I lived in the streets of New Orleans, I lived on the streets of LA, I lived in the streets of San Francisco, you know, it's like a thing to run around solo.
And you got, yeah, that's true. But you got, I've never heard about these, that's new to me, these train hopping groups that, like, you know, just, you said they had a motto. What was the motto again?
Motto, what are you talking about?
You said, like, you know, they were about chaos and...
Oh, no, that's punk rock, that's gutter punks, it's not train hoppers.
Gutter punks, yeah.
That's not train hoppers. I mean, we're not trying to hurt nobody, bro. We just trying to get from point A to point B on the freight train. That's how we move.
Yeah.
It's just,
and is that how you traveled around?
For the most part, for a long time, yes, it was.
Yeah. How would you get in?
Well, you wait. It's called a hop out. Without giving that away too much, and I'm not going to speak too much on this because some dumbass might try to go from what I tell them and get killed. There's places.
Good point.
There's places called hop outs, and you wait for a train to come through, and it's going slow, and you hop on and you ride until you. You mean there's things called crew changes and stuff that.
Would you actually get inside the cars?
No, that's stupid.
Oh, you would ride on the outside the whole
way. Well, like, you know, they've got the ones that haul grain and stuff. And they've got a porch on the back. We call it a porch. It's a little place where they can stand, and we ride on it. Never get in the boxcar. If something happens and that door shuts, you're screwed. You're in there. You're not getting out. There's no way to open the door. So nobody ever rides boxcars if you get caught, killed, anything. You know, like.
What kind of security do they have on the railroad tracks?
Usually nothing on the actual red tracks, but like they have what they call bulls, which are in the train yards, which if you get caught, you're going to jail.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I don't talk a lot about how we do stuff, you know what I'm saying, like I said, because some dumbass might try to go off what I say and wind up dead.
Yeah, I get that part. I was just thinking, dangerous. I heard that along the railroad tracks is federal property, right?
It is.
And they have a different type of police sometimes, or rail police or something like that?
They're called bulls. They're railroad cops. Mm-hmm. And they're really, because gutter punks used to ride freight trains to rob them.
To rob the police?
Yeah, no, man, look, freight trains carry all kind of shit, bro. Guns.
Oh, rob the train.
You know, they would carry guns, electronics, all kind of shit on the trains.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, like, but you're not robbing trains on the move.
Mm-hmm.
So they was going in the yards. That's why we don't go in the yards.
Gotcha. So that the yards were for them, the moving trains were for you.
Well, any real train operator's not going in the yard. That's stupid.
Yeah.
Like, you have no business in there. Yeah. And I only ride junk trains. What a junk train is it's hauling coal, scrap metal. Like, there's no need for me to be on a train with merchandise. Like, one, they're gonna watch that. And two, why, you know, like, the one with the junk and stuff's going the same direction. Mm-hmm. And nobody's gonna fuck with me because they know I'm not stealing. They know I'm just trying to get a ride.
Right. Oh, people would see you sometimes and just leave you alone?
Man, I've had conductors, train conductors put me in the caboose with them, you know, let me ride in the engine with them, feed me, give me clothes. Like, a lot of them are cool. Once they see that, man, I'm just a freight train rider and I'm just trying to get to the next spot, I'm good to go.
Yeah. Did you have you seen anybody else get hurt, like get their legs cut off on trains and stuff like that?
I've seen people thrown off trains. I've seen a lot of crazy shit.
I bet.
I had a road dog that was trying to kick alcohol and he was delirious and he jumped off a train into a tree.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
How'd that go?
Splat.
Did you just leave him while you're just still rolling?
I couldn't make him stop the train. I reported it.
Yeah, okay. I mean, did you ever hear anything back what happened to him?
No.
Oh, he just
I threw the phone.
Oh, he went splat.
Yeah, he was pretty much head first into a tree.
Oh,
train.
Man.
And I just called it and threw the phone.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, I couldn't tell. I was like, look, man, I just seen this happen.
Yeah. What else can you do?
This is what I know. This is what train line.
Yeah. Well, Lynn, I'm glad to hear that you're trying to do better, and I appreciate you letting me do the interview. Is there anything else you want to say, or is somebody you want to shout out to?
Don't do drugs, kids.
anyone you want to shout out to?
No.
All right, man. Hey, thanks. I appreciate you.
You're welcome.